Right, Bo, we need to talk about the fact that the English have awakened. These protests are continuing. We've done that. We've done a few videos on this now on this channel. And at the time of recording, this is Sunday, Sunday the 10th. We just released one and it's done really, really well. And I think that is indicative of the general mood of the nation, actually. So this isn't just a rehash of that, anyone watching. This is because there's an update. You know, there is more stuff that's happened. Basically, this weekend, again, at the time of recording this, there was at bare minimum 13 towns and cities where there were protests happening. And I think there was more. I read some of those, about 20. Now, that's a lot. That is a lot. And we need to talk about it because this is not going away. This is not going away at all. And no one's reported on it either. I mean, you'd think, right? Up and down the nation, protests are happening. Just organically, these things have begun. It's started to sweep more and more. You know, women, grannies, mothers, wives, they're all waking up. They're all turning up to these things, dressing in pink, which is fantastic. Great optics as well. I love it. Like more of that, please, genuinely. And the BBC aren't reporting on it. ITV aren't reporting on it. No one's reporting on it aside from GB News. So good on them for reporting on it. You know, I'm not. GB News are fine, I guess. They do some good stuff. Some stuff which is milk toast and pretty crap takes. But on this base, right, they're reporting on it and they're doing really good work. It's just fantastic. It's fantastic to see. Not that it's not being reported on. That's a shame. But it makes sense why it's not being reported on. Because these protests are peaceful. These protests are now garnering the local support of the women, the indigenous women. They're turning up and they're going, no, I don't want my daughter actually molested. Thank you. No, I don't want my mother molested. Actually, thank you. And the optics, they're not there. You can't report on it. If you're the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, you can't report on that because you can't frame it as far right. You can't frame it as this awful, horrendous nationalist thing where there's just thugs and blah, 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 even though they weren't that anyway, but whatever. You can't frame these grannies sat in the middle of the road, just sort of, you know, gently chastising the police, barely even. You know, the police are just sort of standing around laughing at them, like, because they're like, oh, could you mind getting out of the road? No, I don't think I will. And they're just having a good time, basically. You can't frame that as anything bad. You can't. What can you do with that? You can't say that they're evil. It doesn't work. And so I think I think Starmer's done. I think this is done. I think this is the seal is broken, which is actually what was in the thumbnail title for that last video that I mentioned. And I think it stands true. I think the seal has well and truly broken now. But what do you expect, man? Like, not you, obviously, the royal man watching. What do you expect? This is happening daily. There's something happening daily where some random third worlder has got off the boat and is molesting people, assaulting people. What do you expect? At what point did you think, you know, the straw was going to snap, right? Like when was this going to, like, it was obviously going to happen, but the government's so dumb. They didn't have a contingency plan. They didn't have any foresight for this, clearly. So it was expected. It was going to happen. And a lot of these, like, there was one around, was it Nuneaton, for instance? And that was pretty bad. Again, that was a 12-year-old. It's just absolutely foul. I can't say the details of things that have happened because they're just so disgusting. They're so foul. There was one recently where a Pakistani man, a dysgenic looking inbred thing, obviously they're all inbred, waited in a local gym for them to open, and this woman pulled up. He pulled up with a knife, told her to get in the back of the car. He drove her somewhere and, again, raped her, for lack of a better word, because I can't, because YouTube. I mean, this is happening all the time. That's why they're here. That's why they're here. It's in the very fibre of their being. Remigration now. Send them back. We're done.
Meanwhile, yesterday, over 430 odd new, almost all entirely young foreign men turned up just yesterday. Another 430. It's just day after day after day, packed more and more and more of these beast men into our island. It's insane. Yeah, you're right. The seal has been broken. It's not an exaggeration to say that we're awakening, if not awakened, then beginning to awaken. Yeah. And yeah, exactly. What did they expect? We'll just endlessly allow our women folk to be outraged. You think we'd endlessly take that? It's madness. And yeah, the fact that it's spreading all over the place is just brilliant. And the police, there's not enough police. They can't be everywhere at once. I mean, all of our protests thus far have been almost entirely peaceful, so they don't really need to be police. But if and when it does come to much more serious circumstances, there won't be enough police. If there's like 13, 20, 50 protests going on outside hotels up and down the country every day or every weekend or whatever, there's just simply not enough police officers to deal with that entirely. Like they had to bus in cops from all over the country for Epping, for that one Epping one, right? So, yeah, I just think it's great, and the fact that there's nothing but crickets out of the BBC, out of Channel 4 News, out of the government, crickets, crickets. Their silence is deafening. Well, I also think that's good, kind of good, for two reasons. One, it shows that they've got nothing. Because they could, someone like Keir Starmer or Yvette Cooper or someone could attempt a double down, could attempt a triple down. They could attempt to try and flood the zone. They could try and say things back, but they're not, because they haven't got anything. And I think it's doubly, so that's sort of good and bad. It's sort of extremely worrying in one way, but in another way it's good, because it tells you the way the wind's blowing. I think it's very good that the mainstream media are essentially silent on it for a couple of reasons. I mean, there's good and bad. There's good and bad elements to the fact that they're dealing with it that way. The good ones are that, okay, you leave the space open for us, essentially. You leave the space open for GB News or New Culture Forum or Lotus Eaters, dare I say, or the State of Politics, dare I say. It just leaves the public square completely open for our voices. Great. Yeah, we don't even have to really beat down some BBC shill, some BBC verifier mong who's trying to make out that it's just the far right and there's no such thing as a bad immigrant or whatever. Yeah, they've just conceded the space. Well, good then. Yeah, keep quiet as well. Yeah, you stay in your box. Dirty traitors. You've done enough. So, but also there is a sort of a bad element, or maybe not bad, but sort of let's say disquieting element to the fact that the mainstream media are essentially ignoring or attempting to ignore it. Is that one, they can't ignore it forever. It also suggests to me that they're just waiting for something to kick off, for someone on our side to do something violent or egregious in one way or another, and then they'll immediately jump on it. Look, far right fascist thugs. I bet that they're just teeing that up. You know they are. It's also a bit disquieting to me because it's sort of, I don't know, it's hard to put my finger on it to explain exactly why, but just that it's like worrying, you know, like when you've got an extremely dangerous predator, right, like a lion or a tiger or something, and it stops completely still and silent in the undergrowth. That's worrying. That's a bit scary, right?
Calm before the storm,
it's like,
isn't it?
what are they? Yeah, Yeah, there's something just a little bit worrying about that. But I mean, so be it. So be it. It is what it is. I do love the fact that not just people like GB News or Lotus Eaters or whatever, or us, but that truly grassroots, pardon me, genuine civilian journalists on the scene with their camera phone, just putting it on Twitter or Facebook or whatever it is, that they're the front line, that they're the ones that will get to frame the narrative, or not frame the narrative, bring us reality. They're the ones that are actually going to bring us reality, not some cynically edited bit from ITN or Channel 4 News. Channel 4 News. I tell you, Nate, in years to come, if and when any of this all gets sort of washed out in all the dirty laundry gets really dealt with, Channel 4 News has got some questions to answer about their role in all of this. Filth. Absolute disgusting filth from top to bottom. So I think it's great that people like that Jack Hadfield and others will bring us what's actually going on the ground. And I just hope it keeps spreading. Power to the people. I know that's a classic commie thing to say. It's like
power to the nation, the nationalists.
Power to the people. But in this instance, yes, please.
Yeah. Long may it continue, the awakening.